Namaste. Today we are going to continue our series on Saiyama, which is a very important precursor to the adolescence age. We are seeing many challenges with teenagers, and the biggest reason for those challenges that we are facing with the teenagers is the pre-work that needs to be done in the age preceding the teenage, and that is primarily from 6 years to 12 years, what we call Balavastha. And a significant part of that work is Saiyama, what we have shared: Swad Saiyam, Vani Saiyam, Artha Saiyam and Samay Saiyam. Today we are going to talk about a very important part of these Sayamas, Artha Saiyam. Now Artha is not just money. Most of the times we confuse Artha with just money. And we are going to see how and various dimensions of Artha are dealt with in all the three dimensions when we say at home with the parents, with the children and at Gurukulum by the Acharyas. The most fundamental understanding that needs to come to the child is what is Artha and what is Anartha. We don't have that judgment today, and there are specific activities that we do, there are specific discussions that we do with the child as a part of the whole methodology of education at Vidyakshetra. For example, we have a mathematics block called business maths. Now outside, mostly how we have learnt it, we end up doing exercises in profit and loss, and we do some percentage calculations, simple interest, compound interest, cost price, selling price. Now these are mathematics part of it, I would say numerical or procedural part of maths. But this is such a beautiful topic where we understand first of all what can be bought and what cannot be bought. And I believe that in very simple terms for a child, Anartha is something that which cannot be bought or which should not be sold. And similarly, Artha is something which is meant to be sold, where you can make profit, which doesn't destroy anything around you, which is harmonious by nature, healthy by nature, sustainable by nature. That's what we call dharma as well. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha are the purusharthas as per which people in Bharat used to live. So this fundamental understanding needs to come to children through exercises that we do in our classroom and in various situations. So we begin with this listing down that what is Anartha, so what can be bought, what cannot be bought. So students prepare that list, and then we discuss with students, okay, so most of the times you would see food is written there, most of the times you would see clothes are written there, house is written there, land is written there, and then we discuss, really can food be bought? And then we go into the depth of where does food come from, the supply chain of it, and we realize that every link in that chain gets money except for the earth. So how do you understand that the whole cycle is not getting completed, where the food comes from earth, that food which is produced by the farmer is sold to an aggregator. That aggregator actually takes the food and transports it, so the transporter also gets some money. Then the transporter brings it to the collective, the sabzi mandi or the vegetable or fruit market in the cities, where again they get money. And then it comes to the retail shop, and from retail places we buy. So everybody gets money in between, but not earth. The only way you can pay earth is by taking care of earth, which also we are not doing because we are pumping chemicals in it. We are tilling it, with heavy machineries. We are seeing across the country, across the world, with genetically modified food, with chemically grown food, with excessive fertilizers and urea being used. What are we doing to our Mother Earth? So this whole discussion happens with students, and we understand that actually food cannot be bought. Traditionally also in Bharat, if you see, Anna, Aushadhi and Vidya, which is food, medicine and education, should not be sold. So these discussions happen where we arrive at these conclusions that okay, if education is sold, then who will not get it, and should everybody get it or not? So any essential activity in the society should not be sold was the fundamental understanding, and students are easily able to understand it. It's ironical that we as adults might not be able to understand these things, and might in the name of practicality and many other factors, we miss seeing these points. But for students, I have seen across with different batches, they get it like this. So like this, we do exercise on Artha and Anartha, and then we discuss, okay, even if it is Dhan, then what is Dhan? Different types of Dhan. Money is just one type of Dhan. We're talking about Ajadhan, which is like animals, Gajadhan. If you have sheep, if you have goats, if you have property, if you have gold, there are so many ways of being rich, and traditionally that is how it was. If somebody had 100 cows, he was considered very rich because that was a symbol of prosperity. But today we have reduced every type of dhan in a land where Ashtalakshmis, are worshipped, to just money. And you will be amazed to know that in most part of the country, in our traditional social structures, in the villages, money was hardly exchanged, because the whole society was structured in a very beautiful way. It's traditional economic systems where it was various different ways, but it's a different topic. I don't want to go into the depth of that, but there are so many different economical, social methods that Bharat had in our villages. And when money was not exchanged, it's amazing to see that now today everything is just run on currency. And all these discussions happen with children where, is it sustainable? Is it not sustainable? Or what are the flaws or what are the advantages of such an economic system? And then we move into a fundamental concept of value and cost, which we are confusing again significantly. For example, if you take a glass, a steel glass, and you ask students, okay, what is the value of it? Most of the time you will see students will raise their hand and say 40 rupees, 50 rupees or 70 rupees. And then the same question, if you ask, okay, in this glass, if I am actually giving 1,000 thirsty people water, then what's the value of it? So then students starts differentiating, they were confusing cost and value. Similarly, we see in relationships today, we are not valuing them. We put a cost to it. Okay, how much time will I spend if I go to talk to a friend, or who is coming to our house? How much time will they stay? So the concept of atithi was value, whereas the concept of today's guest, when are they coming? What time will they stay? How much will they stay? Is cost. It is factoring this many hours, this much time. Because so much we have become calculative, we have lost that art of spending time with friends, where we lose track of time, where we talk our heart out with them, where mother and child are sitting and just talking their heart out with each other, where parents, husband and wife, are sitting and opening up to each other, of what their thought process is, how their life is running. All these things require time and patience, where the fact that how much time I'm going to sit with my child, this is not the culture which we had. And that is where when we do these exercises with children, we realize that we have been confusing value with time. Otherwise, how can somebody offset a carbon by paying 10 rupees extra on an air ticket? On one side we are destroying the environment, and then we say we will pay some money and plant some trees somewhere else. So these are some very shallow solutions which our society is finding today because of this fundamental confusion of value and cost. So these exercises bring home this fundamental understanding in children. Then we do exercises like need and greed exercises. How much do we need actually? So students, they actually go back home, they talk to the parents, they discuss amongst themselves, they speak with acharyas, and then they list down, this is what I need. And then we encourage them to go home and open their cupboard and see how many pieces of clothes do they have. And it was shocking for some people to realize that they had more than 150, 200 clothes in their almirah. And when they counted their parents' number of clothes, it was even exceeding that number, having more than 100, 150 saris or salwar kameez or different dresses. And then they were able to see the gap that we might have needed just 25, 30, but we have 150 or 200. So this is just the first step. Then to encourage them to see that, okay, what are the type of clothes that you have? Is it handmade and naturally dyed, or is it handmade and chemically dyed, or is it machine made and chemically dyed, or is it plastic and chemically dyed? So like that we have listed down various categories of clothes, and we were shocked to see that more than 99% actually, some students didn't even have one cloth in their overall 150 or 200 clothes that they had in their cupboard which was naturally dyed. Most of the clothes were polyester, plastic, knowing very well that it's going to harm our body, knowing very well that the cancer causing substances are there. Today, how many students, how many young people, how many people are getting cancer? And one of the significant reasons behind that is the type of clothes and the type of chemicals we have been using in our clothes. So once you do these exercises with children, they understand the gravity of the situation and they take projects from here. They understand, okay, I am using 500 liters of water at home. I am using this many units of electricity. Next month, I'm going to reduce this electricity consumption. I'm going to bring down my water usage to half. So such projects and clothes, I won't buy any cloth this year. I won't use single-use plastic. I will always carry a cloth bag with me to the market. Beautiful projects are taken up by students for a whole year. So I remember one student taking the Sankalpa that I won't use a single-use plastic. Now she used to like chocolates like anything. You won't believe that for a whole year the student didn't eat chocolate because of this reason. I was very amazed by this resolve of the student. And like this, many students take such challenging sankalpas or commitments to themselves in order to take care of the environment around them. Now, this is what is called as the Srishtigat Vikas. So, in our lesson plans, this is how the dimension of environment or Srishti is woven in. Then we move into profit and loss. Okay, what is profit? Is just making indiscriminate profit, or you also need to take care of building relationships with people whom you are engaging with, or is it also important to ensure that their health is good, remains good from what you're producing? So all these dimensions are covered when we talk of profit. Profit means profit for the environment, profit for the person who is taking from you, profit for yourself also, and that is what we say is a holistic profit. So we do exercises and stories and discussions around that, and then also dimensions of tangible, intangible profits are discussed. Once all these things are done, is then we move into profit loss in our procedural or mathematics context, and then we introduce percentages and simple interest and compound interest and banking and savings, and how the whole money aspect has moved today in our society, where from what was historically where we had promissory note or gold exchanges to where we are today in cryptocurrency or virtual currency time. All these also discussions happen with the students, and we go into the depth of problem solving, problem statements related to profit, loss, sales and discounts and EMIs and all those aspects which a student might be seeing in or around her in today's society. So all this put together is what we say is Artha Saiyam, brings in student these elements of Artha Saiyam. Now this is still the dimension of what we are doing with the student in Gurukul, and some activities with the student is completing or doing with their parents. There are many more dimensions where we engage with the parents. For example, delayed gratification is a very, very important principle in the life of anybody. Today's generation, even before student wants, parents out of some reason or another. Sometimes it is excitement for the parent that, they would like to provide. Sometimes it's also because they're not able to give time to the students, so they end up purchasing more than what is needed. Sometimes it is just a payoff that, don't bother me and, here it is. So students end up getting things more than what they want and earlier than when they really want it. And this creates a very different type of behavior in children. So we encourage parents that, if student wants something which you see, you delay it for some time first. Let the student ask for it and engage with the acharya and understand whether really this is needed now or we can, delay it to a later time. And it really helps children to build some sort of control on their senses, on their mind, that, I don't need to immediately get what I want, and I can take time before I get it. And this has helped significantly. Another area where we encourage parents to is not waste things. See, we are in a use and throw era where anything, if your cloth is torn, we just, throw it. If your shoes are broken, we just throw it. Whereas, when we grew, I remember that if our cloth was torn, my mother would stitch it. Or if my shoes was torn, I would take it to the cobbler and I would get it repaired. So we encourage parents that please don't create this culture in your home of use and throw. Please repair clothes nicely. It should not look a very big patchwork type of a thing, mended in a very shoddy way. Mend it nicely. Repair the shoes nicely, and when that happens, students also learn that how they can take care of their objects. So this requires a careful working with the parents on how to build this capability or understanding in children that we shouldn't waste our things. Rather, we should preserve them, take good care of them, and that also includes how we are keeping things at our home. Is there a place for everything? Then there is a rhythm for the child to maintain it well, to keep the things nicely in its place. Another area where we work extensively with parents also is on bulk buying. It's a very important culture we had. For example, a farmer grows once in a year, or he at the best might have two produces, two harvests, since in India we have two harvesting seasons because of nice, two monsoons that most of our land gets. And since the farmer grows once or twice in a year, he also has to sell his entire produce in one shot. He cannot store and sell it to retail customers. And because of this gap, between what farmer is growing and selling and the gap what we have now built a culture of people buying half kg, quarter kg of things. There are too many middlemen in between. And what does that mean? That the thing that the farmer grew and was giving for 10 rupees reaches you at 100. And in the middle, there is unnecessary packaging happening, advertisements happening, marketing happening, transport happening. All these things is a serious cost, for the end user at the same time for the environment. So this is unsustainable. I don't know how much time we will be able to do it, where we are getting apples from America or from New Zealand, and we are getting unseasonable fruits and vegetables from different places. So we discuss with students and take on projects, so in order to understand this first on one end, and then work with parents that please buy seasonal. Second is, please buy bulk. Okay, if you cannot buy at least for a whole year, buy at least for a month, because things won't spoil in a month's time. And when you have bought 10 kgs bag, the amount of packaging has reduced, the amount of middlemen who would have got involved would have reduced, because 10 kg bag you would get maybe from a wholesale type of a market or a shop, which will give you at a lesser price also. So all these discussions happen with parents and with students. And the third thing is, if you cannot buy for a whole month, at least buy for a week or 10 days. Slowly build your capacity and ability to come back to a larger buying thing and storing at your home. And it saves us a lot of time also. If you imagine every second day or third day we have to go to the shop and buy and come, how much time are we wasting? Whereas same thing, if we buy for the whole month and keep in one shot, we would have saved significant amount of time. That focus can be engaged then in studies, in doing adhyayana, in doing our adhyatmic kriyas, in anushtanas, in our prayers, meditation, chanting, spending time with children. That time that we save from all these things can be a very beautiful family time together. So all these things put together is actually Artha Saiyam. It is not just about how to save money. So this is how we have been dealing with this whole thing for last 9-10 years now, and we have seen significant benefit. My request to all the parents, teachers and students who are listening to this video, take one exercise out of this. Take some Sankalpa. Okay, if you cannot take for the whole year, do a Sankalpa for a week or a month. That okay, I will reduce my water or electricity or clothes, the number of clothes or the type of food I'm eating. If I'm ordering from outside through all these food delivery apps, we should bring it down, because it's unnecessary transport, unnecessary expenses. Health issues are coming because of this. All these are because our primary activity is not sustainable. It is not Artha, it is Anartha. And if we are able to bring this core from Anartha to Artha back, we can do a significant change for our environment, for our own family's well-being and for our own health. Thank you very much.